We're moving on and we're trying again. Donkey, donkey, dunk. And while we're talking about college, there are some classes that were, like, insanely valuable. I feel like everybody... I mean, it shouldn't even be in college. It should actually be in, like... Well, okay, it's very easy to just say this. But I'm gonna say it anyway. I feel like in, like, 9th grade math, they should teach you stats. Stats and probability are, like, the most important math to the layperson, I think. Understanding, you know, incidence and probability, being able to delineate between, like, at least as a hunch, delineate between, like, a correlation and a causal relationship, like, these are things that our society needs now more than ever. Like, the idea that you don't know anybody that got COVID, but then you read a news article about somebody who got the vaccine getting a blood clot, so in your head, like, the perceived risk of the vaccine is 300 times greater than the perceived risk of actually getting the virus, even though the data at large obviously doesn't bear that out. Like, that's the kind of thing that I feel like, you know, our school system's letting us down on that stuff. They teach it in 9th grade now? That's heavy pog. I promote that. I give that a +2. +2 to the education systems that teach some stats to people at an earlier age. +2. Yeah, Plum just leaves, dude. It's pretty sick. It basically, when you see that, it guarantees you, like, a pretty good spacebar item. And that's not worth nothing. That's worth something. You don't get too many cracks at this, so might as well give it a try. You don't even need stats for that. You just need to learn how to interpret data in a way that eliminates your random biases. Look, I mean, like, that's... I think it would just be easier to, like, give them a stats class, I guess, is what I'm... Like, maybe some... If they could do it in, like, a structured environment where maybe they could be routinely instructed and then evaluated on their ability to perform these things. Like, maybe in some kind of, like, a place where 99% of people between the ages of, like, 5 and 15 go on a daily basis. So that we can ensure that there's some base level of competency there. I feel like we should be in Silicon Valley right now. We just invented school. You know what? Let's just try a dark room path. Let's lower our standards on this one. I think you're on to something. I had something. Hold on. I had some. Oh, people were talking about the food pyramid. Dude, I always laugh when I think back to the food pyramid. We learned the food pyramid in 2nd grade. Just my teacher with, like, a straight face looking back. It's so funny to think about them telling us, like, yeah, you should eat, like, 8 slices of bread a day. And they just made, hey, but not all bread. I mean, bread's great and all. Plus, it's amazing for you. But make sure you throw a couple of glasses of milk in there, too. I mean, I think when I was growing up, the Canadian Food Guide said you should have 8 to 10 servings of grain per day. Which is just, I mean, is actually, like, comical looking back on it. And then I think it also, like, there was a big promotion. This is probably when I was in, like, 5th or 6th grade. That was, like, you should eat at least 5 servings of fruits and or vegetables daily. So it's like you should... ideally, the average person should eat twice as much bread as, like, lettuce. And you're like, I don't know how the heck did that even come to pass. But I guess it was also made in the era where like fat was the enemy dietarily. I'm sure we'll look back, by the way, and be like, you know, there's probably nutrition stuff that we take as gospel now that will seem a little silly in 10 years. I don't know what it would be. I will say, and I'm not a nutritionist, it's irresponsible to say what I'm about to say without acknowledging I don't work in nutrition. And I have no awareness of I was going to say the meta, but you know what I mean. The current scientific climate and consensus. But I do always kind of like roll my eyes when I tell someone like, oh, I ate 2 bananas yesterday, and they're like, that's a lot of sugar. And I'm like, I mean, is it? Relative to what? Like, is it a lot of sugar relative to, like, you know, a can of tuna? Yeah. Is it a lot of sugar relative to, like, an ice cream cone with ice cream in it? I don't think so. People do that, man. People are like, nobody does that. I'm just people are like, I like to eat fruit, but it's a lot of sugar. Can of corn. That's one of the most important things on the food pyramid. I don't mind. I don't think your masters can judge the morality of this fire. Bananas are not a healthy fruit regardless. See, I'm not trying to put you on blast, but that's what I'm saying. Again, if you're trying to become Mr. Olympia or something like that, you gotta get into the nitty gritty. For like the average person's life, I've been reading these books and thus convincing myself into thinking I'm an expert on, like, you know, behavior, right? I basically have a PhD in psychology and also economics, despite having never studied either of them formally, really. That being said, excuse me, sir. Forget the key. You know, wait, can it take you into the item room? Or can it only take you into the room adjacent to the... What? You can just walk in? Oh, you got a key there. You had a key. All right, if you say so. Sorry. My studies didn't prepare me for this. But I'm like, I feel like one of the reasons that people, myself included, are like not great at diet and exercise. I don't even know what hit me, but fair enough. One of the reasons is because you kind of like, you know, you pay the cost right away, and the benefits are not seen until later, right? Like you want to lose 40 pounds, but you don't, like, you know, you eat right for a week, you don't lose 40 pounds. You really got to keep it going, right? That's amazing. We could do this. So, like, I think that makes compliance harder. In general, like, I think it's a lot easier for people to stick to habits if they get, like, immediate feedback. Like, imagine if you... Imagine if, you had the option to eat, like, either no dessert or, like, a slice of New York cheesecake. And the second you resolved to not eat the cheesecake, your waistline shrunk by, like, half a centimeter. We would live in a world, I think, where, like, overweight and obesity would be... They'd go through the floor. Because as soon as you get that instant feedback for making the action... I mean, you'd be scared, too. You'd be like, ah! But, like, you're getting the feedback instantaneously that would help you out, right? But it's because, you know, I think part of the reason is because it happens later. But clothes would be tough. Let's not worry about that, right? And your pants would fall down, but let's not sweat that too much. But then I think the other reason is because we have a tendency as human beings to focus on, like, banal minutia that has very little bearing. Like, deciding bananas are good or bad for you is not going to be the difference between whether you look like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson or you don't accomplish your goals, right? I feel like it's because we talk about it in Isaac too, like minimizing the decision paralysis that you go through from having to like evaluate 17,000 different variables at all times. I think it lowers the mental overhead required to play, and as a result leads to you playing better, even if you made some decisions that on paper were actually slightly suboptimal. I'm a big believer in, like, you know, streamlining your life in that regard. But let's make this run a little bit more complicated. Let's make this run a little bit trickier. Okay, yeah, this is a throwback to the first ever lost win. Potentially. Beautiful. Anyway. That's just my thoughts. That's my my food pet peeve. Is the person who, like, when you're like, oh, I ate like a cup of cantaloupe yesterday. They're like, oh, it's good, but a lot of sugar, right? I'm like, what'd you eat yesterday, dickhead? let me take a shot at. Oh, whoa, you're doing a juice cleanse? Oh, didn't you know that there's no scientific basis for that to make you feel better? Okay, now that we're both assholes, like, you want to go grab a coffee or something? Like, what's wrong with you? Why you interact with people like that? Okay, this is great. This is wonderful stuff. We will never use Lil Apollyon, so let's just take Guppy's tail. And I will try. We will try. It's actually Lil Abaddon. Yeah, what did I say? I mean, like, I'll be honest with you, even, this is hypocritical now, but even the food pyramid is probably not that bad if you actually, fair enough, if you actually just stuck to it 100%. Like, I'm not gonna pretend that the food pyramid is responsible for me putting on like 20 pounds in university. Like, the food pyramid is not responsible for that. What's responsible for that was, you know, me having like 8 McClays 3 different times every single week. I can't really blame the food pyramid for, you know, getting trashed at Thursday trivia nights, right? Okay, we lost our holy card, but I forgive myself. What is a McClays? It's a dollar beer in Ontario, and apparently I was looking it up the other day. Apparently also in Scotland, which makes sense given the name. It's just a really not good lager, basically. Anyway, that's all I got. John McClay. Oh yeah, from Die Hard. That could have killed me. That could have killed me. I'm not owned. I'm not owned. Hold on, what floor are we on? This is not... This is Knife Piece. I was thinking about it last night. How funny would it be? Like, you know, so Pabst Blue Ribbon, it genuinely did win, like, Best American Beer or something like that at the 1917 World's Fair. Can you imagine how bad the other beers must have been? Like, just think about that for 2 seconds. That, like, when the judges tasted PBR, they were like, thank God, finally. This is getting the blue ribbon. Everything else they drank must have been like poison, man. I was looking, actually, this is just last night. I have a curious mind, I think, which is why I look at this kind of stuff. But I was looking up Old Milwaukee. Did you know, like, Old Milwaukee is a not good American beer. And I'm not saying that to be like, oh, all American beer is not good. I just mean, like, that's the style of beer. It won, like, the silver medal at the American Beer Awards 2008 or something like that. And I'm like, what the heck are you talking about? You really that was like one of your top 3 beers at this tournament? Like, yeah, were they the sponsor or something? I don't understand. Oh no, why would I do this? I knew you were there! I knew they were there, dude. Okay, I'm calling it on this one. We're getting blank card, holy card. No question. No question, man. Oh, man. I've brought this up before, so I apologize. But have you ever heard the tale of Darth Schlitz? It's not a story that Anheuser-Busch would tell you. So Schlitz at a time was the largest alcoholic beverage, or the most popular alcoholic beverage in the United States. Then they got a little greedy. Sometime, I think it was like the 60s or the 70s. America loved the taste of Schlitz, but they were facing increasing pricing pressure from competitors, which led them to have decreasing profit margins. So they said, what are we going to do? We're going to reduce the per unit cost of the beer on our end, but we're not going to do it right away, because the average Schlitz consumer is very discerning. They will know if we've reduced the quality. So, like, it's called the salami slice or something like that. It's like a real thing in marketing. What they did is they basically gradually reduced the price. I'm not using a holy card for now. I'm hoping maybe a blank card will show up in a shop. But it's a little risk, a little reward. But they reduced the quality of it slowly over time, rather than doing it all at once. So they're like, maybe 1 week, they're like, okay, we used to use like fresh barley or something like that. And then now we're going to start using, like, you know, freeze-dried barley, okay? And then, so they did that 1 year, then they waited like 16 months. This is all just for example. It's not specifics, obviously. That hurts. That hurts me when you do that. And then they just kept doing it, making it a little bit, like, worse, thinking nobody would notice if it just got worse over time instead of right away. And then gradually, like, all of its market share got swallowed up by all of its competitors. I mean, that's the end of the story. There's no... I believe they then got sold to the Coors Corporation. Help me. Help me. I can't get out of this room. I lived. I'm not popping the card yet. Like, if we're gonna die, like, if we're gonna get hit, we're gonna get hit twice, I guess is what I'm trying to say. The moral of the story? I don't know. There's a few morals. The moral of the story chat's gonna take from that is, like, F capitalism. The moral of the story that I take from that is that business is hard. It's not that easy. You know? Because you want to say just raise prices instead of lowering quality, but for all we know, that might have screwed them over faster. The moral of the story is probably something, like, incredibly boring. Like, have better supply chain management so you get, you know, better prices on your upstream intermediary ingredients. That's the moral of the story. Just do better, forehead. Oh yeah, and people notice declining quality and content. Absolutely. That's why those last Slay the Spire episodes only got like 15,000 views. And don't Schlitz where you eat. That would be a great... If I was watching Radiolab, I would expect them to... Or listening to, I would expect them to end an episode like that. Oof, 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 oof. Okay, we're... just chilling. Blank card? Blank card, baby. I know blank card's coming in right here. Name this boss. Dingleberg. I believe this is Dingleberg. Ooh, we need this. A free deal with the devil item every floor. Okay, now This is worth popping in my world now. The average dingle enjoyer. Well, I guess we'll planetarium chance. Planetarium chance, everybody. It's the Pog Clog. What's the best planetarium item? And why is it Neptunus? The rock! I knew it! I'm a little mad. Can I tell you for a second here that I'm a little mad? Because I saw the spike rock. I genuinely, in my opinion, I own up to the damage that I know I took. That's a situation where I honestly felt like I moved out of the way, and I yet was still hit by the messed up hitbox, personally. Just throwing that out there. Ooh. But it could be worse. It could have been a Tainted Emperor card. Run it back, boys. For all of the memes, by the way, someone said, when are you going to talk about 90 Day Fiancé with Hassan? Hassan's not returning my calls. I think the only way that I'm going to get his attention is to start posting the big picture of Has mods whenever he likes a photo on Twitter. I think that's the only way that I'm going to get back into his good books. However, when are we going to talk about 90 Day? I got to own up to the fact, for all the defending the 90 Day Defender has logged on, I don't really actually watch the show very much. It's not like methinks the lady doth protest too much. If it was on the television during the periods where the television happens to be on, I would watch a decent amount. However, every time that I am watching the television, they're always playing Seeking Sister Wife, which I just don't care. Like, I don't have time to actively seek out the show to watch in my downtime, really. And even if, you know, I gotta have a little bit more downtime than I do right now in order to justify watching 90 Day at any rate. But the TLC is just like, they're off the 90 Day stuff, and now they're like really going hard on the like polygamy angle. There's so many shows. They're double dipping too. They're not taking a side, and that's what offends me more than anything else. They'll have a show that's like escaping polygamy, and then like that's literally the name of the show. And then like right after escaping polygamy is a show that basically just like glorifies it. It's like, check out this dude with a chain wallet. He's got 8 wives. You know, doesn't that get your autonomic nervous system going? Like, yeah, I believe I mean, I don't, again, I've seen about 4 minutes of the show completely. And in all honesty, but I believe a sister wife is not a wife who is your sister. That would be a show I would definitely tune in, because I'm sure they get up to a lot of hijinks. But I believe that the wives are called sister wives to one another. Like, if you are 2 women that are married to the same man, the other wife is called your sister wife. So TLC's like all about that, and also all about like, hey, my foot has a boil on it the size of a basketball. That's where they're at right now. Stun locked. Okay. I'm not sweating it. I'm having a good time. We're getting up to some good banter. We're working anecdotes through we haven't had a chance to talk about over the course of the week up to this point. I'm having a good time. You having a good time, chat? Just say yes. I'm not actually asking for honest feedback right now. I'll do that on Reddit. Please re-roll analog stick. Unfortunately, I'm not able to re-roll analog stick. I do not possess a dice of any sort. As a result, Squeeb, I will. I'm stuck with it. Sorry, a die of any sort. Did you know? Did you know a singular dice is called a die? Oh, you were told 40,000 times growing up, and also, like, some of those kids grew up to become otherwise well-adjusted adults, and every time you play Monopoly, they go, actually, when you said pass the dice, what did you mean pass the die? Because there's only one of them? Or do you feel seen right now? I apologize. Please stop. Please stop. I get it. Please stop. Okay. Okay, I'll stop. Oh, you're not ready for that one yet. There's 2 in Monopoly? No wonder my games are taking so long, man. No wonder. I just thought Monopoly was like 4 hours long. I'm just joking. I don't play Monopoly. I got higher standards than that. My tastes are unconventional. +2? +2? That YouTube doesn't need to know that there's like a staggering amount of -2s in the chat right now. History is written by the streamer. I did play Monopoly on stream once. I would do it again. Bop bop. It's a shame the digital version of Monopoly that they've released on Steam is not great, but I'm totally down for more stuff like that. Have you ever played the board game? I guess it's almost more of a card game, and it's called Spy. I want to say it's called Spyfall, but I think it's just because MGM Grand is on the brain today. It is called Spyfall. Okay, if you've played it, do you think it would be an interesting fit for shows? Let me sell it to you. It is an interesting and very light board game where basically, let's say you guys 8 people, 7 people are just normies. They all receive a card that has a location on it, and it's the same location. Let's say it's the bank. The 8th person is a spy. I don't know what they receive on their card. I think it might just say that they're the spy. And it's a social deduction game to try to figure out who the spy is. So yes, imposter among us, imposter among us. But the way that gameplay progresses is that you can only you get 10 minutes. So you really want to, like, people could stall. They could play with time as an element there. Help! I don't need the help. I don't need the help. Okay, let's pop that. You can only ask one question to one other person on your turn, and you go around in a circle. So let's say we got like a typical group. I could be like, hey, Corey, is our location a place where you would dress up to go to, or something like that? And he would be like, you know, yes or no, or something like that. So nobody knows who the spy is except for the spy, and you've got to try to figure out who the spy is based on the sus questions that they might ask, or maybe how much time they take to do it. Okay, we got another one in us here. I was not paying attention, to be honest with you. I'll own up to that one. Should have saved the holy card. I think it could be fun. Hey, Corey, are you the spy? It comes highly recommended. Like, my thing for board games to play on the show is that the less complex they are, the better it is. Like, Love Letter is a very simple game. After like 15 minutes of playing it on the stream, it was beautiful. You know, a little confusion at the start, which is understandable because I had only played it like 2 times and didn't explain the rules super well. But then once we got in there, it was like, you know, everybody was having a good time. That's about the level of complexity that I would consider like ideal. Clank is a great game, for sure. And we have done it on the show. Clank is maybe one step beyond. the level of complexity that I would prefer. But if the game is amazing, like Clank is, then I would maybe consider making an exception. But if 2 people ask me to repeat myself because they weren't listening, I will become the Joker. So let that be. You're warned. Consider yourself warned. No, thank you. Cool. A battery that instantly kills us. Have you tried Hanabi? I love Hanabi. I think we could totally play Hanabi on stream as well. I will say at first I thought you said Hazan Abi, and I was like, what do you mean if I tried him? I'll have you know, I'm a VIP in his chat. Now selling access to this Twitch account we're selling fractional shares of this Twitch account. 1 million outstanding shares starting at $100 each. Anybody? Anybody? Bueller? You know what? Let's try to get Mega Satan going. Let's pull it back a little bit. Let's pull it back a little bit. Let's lower our expectations. Even though this run is good, let's try to get something done. Bad item. Donate? Well, not a bad item, but not worth the risk. What does 1 share get you? It gets you 1/1,000,000th of the company, and you get to vote at the annual general meeting. If you don't like repeating yourself, you're gonna hate when your baby becomes a toddler. Dude, I'm gonna be honest though, like, I'm super freaking... I can't wait till she starts to talk for real instead of babbling. Don't get me wrong, the babbling is really cute, but I'm like a verbal guy. I'm good with my words. I think I can... I was gonna say I think I can stun lock the baby when I need to. But not the baby, the toddler. The baby does not respond to my verbiage very well. It's just mostly tone of voice and stuff like that. When she's a toddler, at least there's gonna be like some information coming out, right? Like right now, sometimes she just like starts to cry and you're just guessing. You're like, are you just like, your tooth hurts, you're sick of being in this, you want to be in this, like, you know, it's frustrating. It's like tech troubleshooting. I mean, I'm not like suffering from psychic distress, but you do find yourself like a few times a week looking like, you know, Ben Affleck smoking on his balcony, like. Oh, so let me get this straight. Suppose hypothetically you wanted to be in the UFO chair 3 minutes ago. I put you in the UFO chair. I turned on the keyboard. I know I said we were gonna fight Mega Satan, but then I walked in here and they have brimstone. So. And now you find yourself not wanting to be in the UFO chair. Now you want to be in the playpen. Oh, now you want Sophie, the teething giraffe. Okay. Let me get this straight. Yeah, we're good. Wait, now I'm like, hold on. There is, I actually pushed my glasses up. Perhaps a little bit more sodium chloride next time. With Pandora's box. No, okay, I'm stupid. I thought Pandora's box was going to give us an angel room on the cathedral. It gives us an angel deal item, which is not the same. I would like to find a way into angel rooms. We cannot go to the Eddie room. I don't know how we're gonna do this, but whatever. Yeah, Geo fell apart today. In the future, I'm very receptive, but it fell apart today, unfortunately. Might be able to get a confession booth. Yo, I've seen them once, I think, but... Spin down dice, spin down to 9 lives, then use 9 lives to play the Eddie room. There you go. That's the ticket. Easy. What, like, even if we can't kill, Mega Satan... just going Dark Path would be something, and then... Hold on. We've already done Delirium. No, we've already done Hush. We could, if the run's good enough, we could try to do either True Ending or Delirium. Yeah. But, like, look at us, right? Like, I've lost, like, 12 runs in a row, and now I get, like, 3 good items, and I'm like, oh, man, I can't easily kill every boss in the game. Like, it's so guaranteed. Let's act like we've been there before. The next thing we need is not a key piece. It's like holy cards. Stack up as many of those as possible. It's Afterbirth plus mindset. No question. Act like you haven't been there before. Mini-me noise? Anyway, that's all I got. D1 holy card, that would help out. What were we talking about? Food pyramid? What have we been talking about, man? I don't even remember. Deal with the devil. Perfection. We're talking about stun locking the baby? Okay, but don't take that out of context. Stun locking is simply saying something that freezes the baby's brain, allowing you a moment to recollect your thoughts. By the way, like, I think you should have to have flair next to your name. Whenever people criticize stuff like that, I think you should have to have flair next to your name of whether or not you're a parent. That's not to say that people without children cannot give parenting advice, because that's never stopped them. However, it does, you know, change the amount of authority I give you in my head. There's a lot of people, like, I was talking, Kate and I were laughing. Not at you specifically, but at the concepts. That, like, whenever you tell, like, other parents that, like, you know, oh, it's been, like, so frustrating, like, sometimes she just, like, cries for no reason. Other parents are like, yeah, it's kind of annoying, and that's all you want. People without kids are like, personally, I think that the baby just responds to the energy that the parent brings into the room. If the parent has a very calm demeanor, then the baby will be less likely to cry, and as a result, I personally just think that, like, if I had a baby, they would just never cry instead. And you're like, yeah, okay, let me know how that works out for you. My son's screaming in the other room because he doesn't want a nap. That's what I'm saying, man. It's like, come on. He's not responding to reason. 2 seconds ago, you wanted to nap, and now you're like, I don't want to nap. Like, come on, make up your mind. We're all adults here. Like, sometimes she's hungry. I know she's hungry because it's, like, around her lunchtime. So I'm warming up her bottle. And she's crying. She's like, I want the bottle, I want the bottle. Then I give her the bottle, and she goes, and she has like 2 little sips of it, and then she just like drops it on the ground, and then she starts to cry again. And I'm like, maybe if you were so hungry, you shouldn't have dropped the bottle on the ground then. See, when I'm hungry, I don't take my plate and just go drop it on, anyway. They don't respond to logic. What the heck? Soul of Apollyon. What? Soul of Apollo. Infested. This is Apollo and the 250 Twitter accounts that click the heart button whenever he tweets woof within 35 seconds of it entering the twitter.com servers. Okay, down to the next page. I mean, down to the next floor. Oh, yeah, don't skip. That's right. Fair enough. Don't skip. I know what you're thinking. I don't need no reason. Don't tell me, cause it hurts. Did you know, by the way, I was looking up this game. So Kate told me to play this game. I think it's a Ludum Dare game, or it's like, it's an itch.io game or something like that. And the game is called Deepest Sword, I think. So it's like a getting over it type game, where the joke, or not the joke, but the gimmick, I guess, is that you have a big sword, but you got to get through like this castle where the angles are really tight. So it's like getting over it, physics sort of driven type thing. Kate was like, you should play this. I watched this Korean YouTuber play it. He had a lot of fun. The chat seemed to like it as well. So it's been on my radar. Then it also came across my Twitter feed. They said, hey, thank you so much for showing us, love with our first game, Deepest Sword. I clicked on the replies, and everybody was just typing, yo, when are you gonna let us fuck that dragon? And then I investigated a little further. I guess, at the end of the game, there's like a dragon, and people want to have intercourse with the dragon, I suppose, is... I don't have anything else. I don't have anything else to say. That's just, I mean, the dragon has eyelashes. That's just the internet. Well, that's true. I can't deny that. That is just the internet. Why does it have bedroom eyes? Yo, why does it breathe fire? I don't know, man. The mysteries of the universe. Link? You can just Google it. I'm not gonna enable that. The dragon makes innuendos about the sword. Oh, okay. So just say what you mean to say. People are lonely. I understand. Now, when you put it that way, I get it. Okay, we'll look for the Fool card this time. I mean, dude, Book of the Dead is pretty nice for the orbitals. I'm not saying no to this. I'm a simple man. If boobs equal yes, then horny +1. As your programming professor, see me after class. First off, you used if boobs equals yes. That is an assignment. That is not an equivalence test. As a result, you have just assigned boobs the value of yes as a string. You need to use equals equals. Secondarily, you did not increment your horniness. You simply typed horny +1. I'm trying to think about what that would even do. I don't have something off the top of my head. You should have been using plus equals or plus horny if you're using C++, because if you do a pre-increment, it's easier on the compiler. I mean, come on, who's paying for your clock cycles? How do you know? Tell me you're a C++ programmer without telling me you're a C++ programmer. Oh, I use the pre-increment, actually. It's easier on the compiler. Don't shoot me. I don't even know what you do. Like, if you're gonna kill me, just kill me. Stop being so coy about it. No C++ programmer has ever said that. They would if they'd ever talked to another human being. Outside of JarnCon, 1995. Black Rune the Library, you genius. Boom, roasted. Who's next? Stanley, you're fat and you crush your wife during sex. Boom, roasted. Thank God. We got 1.5 range upgrade. Thank you, thank you. This is an r/roast me. Yo, I only became aware of that subreddit recently. I think this is the 32-year-old man in me, and not the denizen of the internet. But like, I feel like that subreddit is scary. Like, I know that it's all fun and games. You, like, assume that the people who go on there are, like, all of sound mind. And are like, hey, this will be fun. We'll all make fun of each other. Like it's a roast. I'm Jeff Ross. And then I'm like, sometimes you go in there, you read the comments, and I'm like, man, the person who made this thread is probably, like, genuinely hurt. I bet they're like, if someone wrote that about me, I'm not gonna deny it. My feelings would be hurt. I want this deal with the devil. Yeah, none of them are jokes. They're just insults. Thought it was supposed to be roast me, but instead it's just like r/ you think you're hot, but you're ugly. Hey, let me know when you're 35 years old and no Giga Chads want you anymore so I can turn you down. And you're like, that's the top comment? Really? That's the top comment. Okay, it doesn't matter what we take. Have we done boss rush? We have? What's wrong with me? I'm amazing? I'm terrible? I'm amazing? I mean, I guess we're trying it. The only good thing about Roast Me was the guy who looked like a Pepsi Max bottle. I'm not familiar with this hallmark of internet culture. Thank God these guys die in one hit, dude. I'm only familiar with a few Reddit classics. Oh, thank you. One of which is Crack Style, which has, you know, he shouldn't have been taking photos of people's butt cracks, but it is hilarious. Something can be like something he shouldn't have done, but also be funny. In fact, I'd say there's more of a positive relationship than a negative relationship most of the time. Poop knife? I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't think I know poop knife. I know Fortnite. I do know the box of, you know what? Let's call it the dumb box, but instead of a D, it uses a C. I don't even know if that's a Reddit thing. Was that a Reddit thing or was that a 4chan thing? I don't know. What's the difference, man? About 2 weeks. Do you know about the jar? I vaguely recall having heard about a jar where they were making their own, like, kombucha or something like that. Sorry. We don't need to go back down in that direction. I did like the one that was like Patrick Mahomes. If you take out, if you adjust his stats to be an average quarterback, he's merely an average quarterback. Sports subreddits, though, they're like undefeated in idiocy. Like when, who was it? Was it the Predators that swept the Blackhawks that one year? There was that insanely viral post in r/hockey that was like, obviously this is just a fluke. Like, if the NHL actually had integrity, shouldn't they redo the series? If the Predators beat the Blackhawks again, then sure, I'll accept that they're a better team. But like, a 4-game sample is not large enough, and it sucks that the best team in the regular season could like lose so quickly in the playoffs. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And there's some good NHL ones. Maybe the kid's not... Oh, what is it? We absolutely need more Heatley clips. Frick off with that. Every time this kid steps onto the ice, he's got dirty dangles, clap bombs, F-moms, 50 and 50, 17. Oh yeah, we're moving on. We're moving on.
These self-destructive and disturbed
What are you talking about? Thoughts on r/gaming? I don't check r/gaming ever. Occasionally, I'll take a look at r/games. My perception is that r/games is like, here's everything you never thought you needed to know about the history of Shin Megami Tensei for no reason. And then it's 3,000 upvotes, and then it's like, new AAA game came out. 0. It's a 0 upvotes. And then r/gaming is like, my girlfriend baked me a cake, you wouldn't believe it. And then it's just like a cake with a Triforce on it. And people are like, dude, that's amazing. I think we need this now. But you know what's funny? Is that, like, I used to be like, that's kind of cringe, right? Oh, the cake is a lie, the cake is a lie. Now I'm like, dude, at least this is a subreddit where people are just, like, having a good time. At least they're not arguing. Well, that's probably not true, but in my head, I'm like, at least they're just kind of, like, benignly, you know, sharing a hobby together. Even if it is, like, a little bit like, no way, dude, you played Half-Life 2? I played Half-Life. Did you play Portal? The cake is a lie. I, like, you get it, but nothing wrong with that. We're not gonna live here, by the way. But we're gonna try. Well, dude, you played Among Us? What does Cracked Key do? Oh, we can finally unlock the Lost. Don't lie to me, Walt. You sussy bobcat. Hello, Mouth. Mouth, were you streaming today or was today garden duty? I did my my requisite, like, 9:31 a.m. 45-second crawl through every live stream that I follow, and I didn't see Mouth today, and I was like, oh, maybe he's in an octopus's garden in the shade. I did not call Mouth's garden duty at all. I said, are you on garden duty? D-U-T-T-Y. D-U-T-Y. As in a solemn obligation that one must do. By the way, you might be like, he's bantering too much. No. Wrong. I'm saving up my game sense for the next phase. Holy card? You gotta go, dude. You gotta go. I'm saving my game sense. The ability to sense gaming. So yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna play the Horny Dragon game, but I might. It's good variety. Deepest Sword? That's what it's called? Deepest Sword? Quick little luck upgrade, never hurt anybody. 14 luck. This would be a great time to somehow get Ghost Pepper, man. Like, that would change everything. Dunk dunk. That's exactly what I needed. I was just saying that's exactly what I need. I would never forgive myself for taking damage there. Mommy's knife? Mommy's knife? I almost gave... How... This is a real question. How offensive is the middle finger? Very? Really? Because, like, I find myself wanting to give the middle finger to the camera a lot as a joke, but I worry that it would actually be taken as such an obscene gesture that, because for me it's like benign and innocuous and innocuous, I should say, and just it's funny. Like when I see someone give the middle finger, if they're doing it seriously, funniest thing I've ever seen, dude. Not like this. Game kid me? Can't touch this. Like, that's a great situation for me to be like, you know? Wouldn't it be great if I went, screw you, dude. Wouldn't that be funny? All right, slash marker, bird.